Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rikah Kodash. That belongs to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the octave pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the I walk through our listening learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from GMS Orlando Camp, coming into another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another day edification. Lord, wouldn't be edifying, another Saturday edification. So again, I gotta I gotta say the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Mosai, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only God's son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapos Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. So got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. So I titled this lesson, These Prophecies Are Really Turning Up. And I got a few clips I'm going to play of prophecies really turning up. One of them, which I saw in the news this morning, because brother be watching world news, and we filter it through the scriptures. So, and one of these major prophecies is famine, man. Famine. Famine is really about to turn out, man. So, Lord wants to be edifying. So I'm gonna pull this first clip. Cause what's going on is famine, inflation, World War III. These prophecies are playing out, man. Turn this volume down. So check this out.
I saw inflation coming the second they locked down the world, especially after all the bailouts during 2020, infinite QE, money printing, bond buying, increased spending, printing billions, running up debt. Eventually, the Fed was gonna run out of bullets. Nah, who could see inflation coming? The biggest economies in the world were paying people not to produce goods and services, or just boarding them into their homes in China, yet no idea why this inflation fell out of the sky. People often don't see what they don't want to see, because people were so blindly taking handouts. Because 99% of people trusted their government and their fake consumer price index.
And we keep talking about this, man. Starting with the apostles of Great Millstone, they continuously told you not to trust in your government, man. Okay? So I'm gonna play this again. We're gonna get some precepts. Because the apostles have been telling you about this. The apostles and the elders been telling us about this for years, man. Not to trust in your government. So let's play it again. I'm gonna get this precept.
I saw inflation coming the second they locked down the world, especially after all the bailouts during 2020, infinite QE, money printing, bond buying, increased spending, printing billions, running up debt. Eventually, the Fed was gonna run out of bullets. Nah, who could see inflation coming? The biggest economies in the world were paying people not to produce goods and services, or just boarding them into their homes in China, yet no idea why this inflation fell out of the sky. People often don't see what they don't want to see, because people were so blindly taking handouts. Because 99% of people trusted their government.
And you see, and the Lord said, um, trust not Proverbs 3, it tell you that Proverbs 3 and 31 reads, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Well, Jake trusts in these devils, man. As it tell you in Isaiah 30 and 12, it say, woe to ye that, hey, Jake trusts in oppression, man. You trust in the government. So what this guy said, I got to run it back. Let's run it back a little bit.
Spending, printing billions, running up debt. Eventually, the Fed was gonna run out of bullets. Nah, who could see inflation coming? The biggest economies in the world were paying people not to produce goods and
You
services.
see, hey, it say, why does the government pay farmers to not grow crops, man? Hey, this is a part. This is how famine is coming, man. And 2/3 of Jake don't see it. They don't see this happening. Famine is coming, man. Famine is a part of prophecy. It gotta happen. Thus saith the Lord. When you go into the book of Second Kings, the besieged, the besieged. Every time us Israelite got besieged, there was a famine, man. And the Lord said in Leviticus 26 and 33, I'm going to scatter you amongst all the heathen, and I'm going to send a sword after you. Well, that sword consists of famine, pestilence, okay? Famine, pestilence, and the sword, man. That sword is the literal sword, famine, and pestilence. This is a part of prophecy, man. And Jake is not taking this serious.
Or just boarding them into their homes in China, yet no idea why this inflation fell out of the sky.
This is for educational purposes only. This is not for monetary gain. I do not own the copyright to these videos. This is for educational purposes only. Lord willing, to be edifying.
People often don't see what they don't want to see because people were so blindly taking handouts. Because 99% of people trusted their government.
Now let's get the precept. Because 99% of our people trust in the government, man. Isaiah 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with their covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down to Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, to strengthen yourself in your government, what this is saying, and it's a and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore, shall the strength of Pharaoh, your government, you trust in Biden or who's ever in the office. It said, therefore, shall the strength of Pharaoh, or we could put Biden here, be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your government, your confusion, man. And you trust in these people, man. Hey, it say if you trust in it say you add sin to sin by trusting in your government, man. The Lord say, woe to rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with their covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Let's get verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon. Therefore, since you trust in your government, since you trust in your rulers, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out of an high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. You see, it's going to happen all of a sudden, and you ain't going to know nothing of it, man. That's why the Lord said, Habakkuk 1 and 5, I will work a work in your days which you will not believe, though it be told to you. And the Lord gave us spiritual fathers to feed us with his ways, to feed us with things that's going to happen, man. Prophecy. Giving you eyesight to get out of the way, man. But Jake got that normacy bias spirit. They think Jake feel like things are going to go back to the normal. Well, this is the new normal, man. Death, famine, and pestilence is the new normal for you Jakes, man. Because the Lord say 2/3 of us will be put to death, man, for disobedience. Let me get this. This is Leviticus 26 and 33. And it reads, And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Our land is desolate because we're not in it. And these jakes that trying to go over there, these jakes that's over there in Demona, well, they kicking them out, man. You don't supposed to be in that land no way, man. The Lord say He got to take us back to the land of Israel. He said He was gonna scatter us among the heathen and send a sword after us, man, till we are left down to just a remnant, man, because of disobedience, man. And all these prophecies are playing out, and Jake still won't get it. But anyway, let's finish this. It's only 8 minutes. I've got 3 more.
And the fake consumer price index. Because political pressure to keep the false economy afloat is significantly more important than a solid currency that doesn't rob the middle and lower class via cost of living. Hell, make them more dependent on the government while you're at it. More votes, because they have to print. If they stop, the house of cards falls. They literally can't stop printing now. It's too late, and it's been too late for a while. But Biden just said inflation is an asset. Right. This is what dumbing down a population looks like. The ending of the destabilization phase and entering the chaos phase.
And this guy just said, Biden said inflation is an asset. It is. To who? To the elites, man. Because they got a guidestone in Georgia that says they trying to maintain humanity at 500 million. And if their calculations, which they say it's over 7.7 billion people on the earth, that means they trying to get rid of 7 billion people, man. And mainly it's you Jakes, man. It's you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. And how are they doing it? They doing it through bio-warfare, man. Okay? Bio-warfare, man. They killing us with the food. And if the food ain't killing you, it's the chemtrails, the contaminated water, cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes. These are all instruments of death, man, that these devils designed. Why do we have a CDC? There wasn't a CDC before the conquistadors and Spaniards came over here to slaughter our brothers, the North America, Gad and Reuben, Issachar. It wasn't no CDC, man. So why do we have a CDC today, man? These are instruments used for war. This devil, the Lord set him up to be the left hand to destroy 2/3 of Jake, man.
It's called How to Communize a Nation Through Central Banking.
Exactly.
The Fed created the word transitory, then removed it from existence. Who didn't see this coming? Who was responsible? Who benefits? Only those doing as they were told and following orders wouldn't have seen it coming. They're still wearing the masks, which have been effective as both a muzzle and blinders. Doesn't really matter whether they saw it or not, as they've chosen to keep the poor poorer and the rich richer by keeping rates at 0%. I would not be surprised if the Federal Reserve pushes back on interest rate rises tomorrow and blames it on the economy while carrying on printing trillions. Treason has infested our republic as government laughs behind our backs. They are all guilty. The classic definition of inflation, increasing money supply, has been hijacked also to mean rising prices. We knew inflation, classic, happened and were simply waiting for it to affect prices. Oh, they saw it coming. Their aim is to collapse the currency. This is intentional. We're being moved into a CBDC slave system. Anytime they print trillions of counterfeit dollars, we're going to have huge inflation. Anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together who wasn't blinded by...
So lock you for the infomercial.
Get it, let it go.
By mainstream media garbage saw inflation coming. The most laughable part of this whole ordeal is that the Fed literally set a policy to pursue inflation. Jerome Powell said they would begin seeking a multi-year average CPI, that is 2%, instead of an annual CPI of 2%. He was quite clear that this policy would result in inflation that was substantially higher than 2% for a period of time. Only war will save the Feds from having to raise interest rates. Welcome back to the Atlantis Report. Please like and share. This inflation is not transitory. This is here as long as rates are low and money is printed. Largest debtor in the world is the U.S. government. They will not let rates go up that much, and Wall Street survives on those printed dollars. So guess who gets screwed? Middle class and poor. Like always, inflation hidden is a tax and a way to punt responsibility. So convenient that when the war talk is kicking up right when COVID goes away, distract and blame on everything else but them. We are discounting all the dollars that have been created out of thin air through deficit spending, and all those coming down the pork barrel pipe. As depression sets in, asset classes will deflate because people can't service the debt. Consumable commodities like food and clothing are only going to skyrocket. They saw it coming, and they didn't care. It gives them the chance to steal everyone else's property and money. Inflation is taxation without representation, legalized stealing by the government. Pretty soon, no one will own their own home in this country. We will be a nation of renters, beholden to the government for every part of our lives. In other words, tax slaves. Everyone paying attention saw it coming. This was all calculated. Of course we did. We knew back in 2018. But there's only so much we can do as citizens when the problem starts at the top. Every bad decision we make takes 10 years to fix. That's because the ones that ignore the inflation were the ones benefiting from it in the markets, while the general public was getting screwed, paying higher prices for everything.
Exactly.
It's their narrative to try to convince the sheep that they were doing their job, but external factors outside of their control created this clown show. Financial firms and the likes of Cramer were doing their job, shilling retail to buy the top so the institutions had liquidity to sell their bags. You don't need a financial advisor when they continue to run their same play on repeat to nauseam. It's all by design.
Hey, we know who ruled the world, man. Okay? It's the seed line of Satan, man. Ephesians 6. Was that Ephesians 6 and uh Ephesians 6 and 13, man. Okay? The rulers of darkness of this world. The seed line of Satan, man.
Politicians don't control the world, bankers do. Unlimited money supply wasted by
Of course they control the money. Hey, you see, and the apostles been telling us this for years, man. These Rothschilds, man. Okay? These, we know who they are, man. And they fund, hey, this war that's going on, hey, this rumors of wars, hey, these devils fund everything, man. They fund both sides of everything, man. Everything is being done through the hand of these devils, man. Through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah. Because this place is going down, man. And we watching it go down through these strategic moves that Yahweh Shema Shah is making, man. He said through the measurements. He do not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled, man. In 2 Ezra 4 and 37. And we seeing how Babylon is falling, man. The Lord got the spirit on them, but they don't have no understanding of what's going on.
Federal government causes inflation, along with restrictions on trucking, oil, and the gas industry and mandates. The Fed is a walking, talking inflation machine. If a person has been living on their savings, they know it's been going on for years. But until inflation shows up in the price level, the CPI, corporate media and mainline Keynesian economists refuse to recognize it.
Hey, and that's what the Lord say in Psalms 27:5, right? He said the hopeful elect, he's gonna put them up on a rock, man. Everybody's getting caught up in this wave of food going up, everything going up. It's affecting two-thirds of Israel, man. Because the hopeful elect, the Lord is going to cover them, man. Them that doing the will of the Lord, these men, the Lord is going to cover them and their houses, man. But two-thirds that's out here sliding good and Challengers and Chargers and Camaros and BMWs and just living life. They downtown in every city at the clubs every Friday and Saturday, partying, eating steaks and shrimp. They finna catch it, man. They finna catch it. Why? As I tell you in Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish, man. They don't have no vision because they trust in the government. And the same thing happened with Rome, man. As Rome was falling, as the denarii, Rome's currency, the denarii was crashing, they gave you entertainment, not soccer. Well, which when you leave America, soccer has always been the number one sport. Not Babylon the Great got soccer teams now. Heavy soccer. They gave you now you got more UFC, right? Which is what was in Rome, gladiators, right? Boxing, UFC, basketball, football, hockey, baseball. They got you entertained while the dollar's collapsing, while the infrastructure is crumbling, and you Jakes think you're in the best case ever. Oh, it's gonna get you got that normalcy bias spirit, as Apostle Ramla brought out a few years ago. You niggas got that normalcy bias spirit that things are going to go back to normal. Well, the new normal is death, famine, pestilence. You're going to die grievous deaths by famine, pestilence, and the sword because you don't have no vision.
Should have been a nice recovery with people being allowed to go back to work, especially sporting events and so on. But
You see? You see? I ain't even watched all of it. And you see what he just said? Hey, it should have been a great recovery. Got you watching sports. Let's run that back. Everybody know this except two-thirds of niggas, man.
should have been a nice recovery with people being allowed to go back to work, especially sporting events and so on. But incentives by Joe to stay home all the while, artificially increasing their wealth with more handouts, was a sure formula for what's happening now.
Which is
Wealth
disaster.
increased in our country 13 trillion during this pandemic, but I guess some will say 81 million people can't be wrong. Look, people just want an easy life. They take the path of least resistance and want to be taken care of, like we, the people, went out of style, which it did, and they would rather forfeit their liberties for a little economic prosperity via cheap crap from communist China.
Mm.
I have concluded that almost nobody knows what they're doing anymore. The nation has been living off of debt and governed by surveillance for a long time. How can the result be anything short of catastrophic? Our system
Hey, the people should be as fuel to the fire, man. Everybody walking around like zombies, trusting in the government, man. The Lord is bringing this place down, man. And if you don't have no vision, you're gonna die a grievous death, man. Hey, the water Yahweh Shema Shah, man. Call Allah Yahweh Shema Shah.
is composed of three things that have never worked for long: fascism, socialism, and surveillance capitalism. I doubt that inflation is the end of our challenges, but we'll mostly continue to hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Hey, and it's just the beginning of sorrows. Now look, at 4 minutes and 14 seconds, look what it say. US becomes the world's largest debtor country. And it is. This Babylon the Great. Anything goes here. You can worship whatever God you want to worship here. There is no order. You can run around the earth murdering. You could be a transformer. You can do whatever you want to do here, long as it's in the means of the law. Murder is being justified here, man. adultery, being a transformer. All these things are being justified in Babylon the Great, man. You want to sue somebody? Just just pick somebody out and get a case against them. And you can get a lawyer. He'll take the case for some wickedness, man. That's why the Lord saving the best for last, man. Babylon the Great is going to get the worst judgment ever, man. Let me pull this next clip. Jake running around the earth thinking everything is all good, man. It ain't all good, man. As it says in Jeremiah 51, 2nd Ezra 11, it said the wickedness of this place have reached to the heavens, man. Let me get this one. So this is, I saw it this morning on the news. These farmers, right? Check this out.
You probably noticed everything from fuel to furniture to food has been inflating recently. Meat prices in particular are up sharply. Take a look at these year-over-year numbers right here. These come from the Labor Department. Meat, poultry, fish, eggs, they didn't see much of a price increase in 2018 or 19, but skyrocketed 6.3% in 2020. Then last year, a whopping 10.5%. Despite the rising cost at the store, ranchers aren't suddenly turning into billionaires overnight. So why is meat so expensive? Can it be fixed? Dan Grossman has some answers for us.
Character is found in grit. And grit? That's found bountifully in Zane Bluebaw's daily routine. In his arms, Zane carries the weight of feed for his cattle. On his back, he carries the weight of his family's entire legacy.
Just trying to make a commitment to move forward and actually grow is virtually impossible right now.
For 6 generations, the Bluebaws have raised cattle on their nearly 3,000 acres in Tonkawa, Oklahoma. Each generation has guided the ranch through its hardships and uncertainties.
Hey, you see them tags? You see them tags on these cows? You see them white tags? That's going to be 2/3 of you Jakes, man. You Jakes that trust in your government, this going to be you Jakes, man. Them white tags. Okay? Because as the elite said, they want everybody tagged just like cattle, man. And 2/3 of you niggas going to be tagged, man. What did it say? It say sheep that's led to the slaughter, man.
But few have faced the ones Zane is currently facing at the young age of 23.
It just makes it more uncertain at every level. It compounds those factors to where it becomes more difficult to predict anything.
You want me to take them out for you?
If you've gone to the store recently, you know the prices of food and meat. But what you might not know is the people some might assume are benefiting from them are hurting as much, if not more, than the people they're supplying.
The independent farmers and ranchers, we're on razor thin margins. Many of these multi-generational operations are having trouble even staying in business.
Across the country, ranchers like Zane are going out of business rapidly. Since 1980, the farmer's share of the retail food dollar has plummeted by 50%, and the processor share, or the companies that prepare the meat for packaging, has risen by nearly 60%. It has led to record profits for producers and smaller profits for ranchers, while passing higher prices down to consumers.
Now, how is this happening? How is this possible if them that control the planet, these are their people? They got access to what is called generational wealth. How is they starting to crumble now? Because their time is about to come through them, as the scriptures say. The end of their times shall come through them, man. 2nd Ezra 11:39, man. These devils is falling, man. As the Lord says in Luke 10:18, I saw Satan fall as lightning, meaning quickly, man. Swift. These devils is falling, man. These devils got they own thousands of acres of land, thousands of cattle. How they doing bad? Because the Lord said in the latter days, Deuteronomy 30:7 was going to happen to our enemies, man. Again, Habakkuk 1 and 5, the Lord say, I will work a work in your days, which you will not believe, though it be told to you. And that's why I say in Isaiah 14, how are this man Lucifer fallen? How did you that weaken the nations? How you become weak like us?
Consumers.
Well, I think it's just pure greed because they can. They have that much market power. The system that we have today is broken.
Scott Bluebaugh is Zane's dad and the president of the Oklahoma Farmers Union. What he says about market power is true. According to Farming, the top 4 processing companies control 84% of the beef industry. In 1970, that number was 25%, as tens of thousands of processors have either been bought up or pushed out. It means less competition, which means fewer options for competing prices and fewer chances to keep legacy farms like theirs running.
It's a huge burden that we all carry. To be able to carry on, we have to make lots of sacrifices.
Hey, we had a large burden. We had huge sacrifices. We screwed up. Well, guess what? It's your turn, Esau.
To manage, the Bluebaws have cut back on auctions, swapped to smaller processors, and marketed directly to the consumer, hoping the strength of their character can support the weight of their legacy. I'm Dan Grossman.
Inflation cuts across every political party, religious group, home state. And here at Newsy, we want to focus on the people behind the issues, the people feeling them. So,
5th generation cattle rancher on issues brought by pandemic inflation. 5th generation. They've been having generational wealth their whole life. Well, welcome to the struggle of so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Welcome back to the bases of men that you are. Welcome back, Esau. Because that's what's happening. And that's why I say Ecclesiastes 12 and 3, the keepers of the house shall tremble. Because they ain't going to know where their next meal is coming from, man. Welcome back, Esau, to the bases of men. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
let's get a real voice into the conversation tonight. James Henderson is a 5th generation cattle farmer based out of La Jara, Colorado. James, you're a farmer of cow-calf production, and I want to make sure I'm getting it right. I'm from Missouri, but I don't know exactly what that means. Does that mean you breed and sell cows that are young amateur?
So our role in the beef supply chain is that we start by breeding our mother cattle, and we have the calves and we raise them until they're about 500 to 700 pounds, and then we sell them into feedlots where they'll grow to harvest size, which is another 700 pounds. So anywhere in the range of 1,200 to 1,300 pounds is when those cattle are slaughtered.
Time, labor, food intensive. People are paying a boatload right now for meat. I've heard of some people saying, I went to get ground beef, it's 40% higher. And everyone seems to be saying, I don't know why, because I'm not making any more money. The grocery stores say it, the processors say it. Are your profits way up?
So in 2020, during the March shutdown, we saw prices crater, and it was very impactful for our ranch. USDA came out with the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program, which helped bolster the agriculture industry up, which was very important for us. As a consumer, myself, there's kind of this misnomer that farmers and ranchers maybe, just have all their food raised on their farm. And that's really not the case. We go down to the grocery store. I have a big family. There's 7 of us, and we've noticed this increase in the prices of meat as well. And it's very concerning. I would say since that big dip in March of 2020, we've seen cattle prices start to come back, but there still is a discrepancy between the prices that farmers are receiving for their animals and the price of meat. And a lot of that is due to COVID restrictions within the packing plants and labor shortages. As soon as we can produce and get rid of the backlog of cattle that are in the country, I think that disparity is going to close pretty quickly.
Hey, And as Yahushua said, and this is just the beginning of sorrows, Esau. Hey, welcome to the curses, man. Welcome. We welcome you to these curses, man. Hey, we welcome you to these curses, Esau. Welcome back.
That'll help. I had never thought of a cattleman going to the store to feed his family and also saying, my gosh, why is this so expensive? That's
Yahweh Shem Abashai working, man. I will work in your days, which you will not believe, though it be told to you, man. Hey, you can hear it on the news. You will not believe it until it's happening to you. What's happening, man? It's happening to everybody, man. It ain't just so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians that's getting the bad parts, man. It's everybody getting it now. Why? Because you put your hands on the apple of the Lord's eye, man. That's why.
fascinating. So that's what's leading to some of the higher cost. At this time, because we want our American farmers to stay in business, we want there to be a sixth generation on your farm. What is the most profitable thing you can produce right now?
For us, our bread and butter, so to speak, is the cattle that we raise. That first part of that beef supply chain, we've been doing that since 1882. So we have that 140-year tradition of doing that. That's going to be increasingly profitable for us.
I got to read this. Beautiful precept, brother. And shalom to the occupant I walk on the comment board. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Abashai. Bahashem. Rikah Kodash. Barakathum. Water for tuning in. Proverbs 11:5. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. And to tell you that in Psalms 9, man. Your feet is going to get trapped into the same snares and traps that you set up for us to fall in, man. Because the Lord is turning things right side up, man.
For the coming years, we're seeing the cattle inventory shrink across the country as drought conditions have really impacted the western United States as well as areas like North Dakota as well. So the lower supply of cattle, the higher the demand is going to be by the packers that eventually buy our cattle. And, we still rely on supply and demand functions as a market. And right now we're oversupplied and there's a bottleneck at the packers, which is really putting that negative pressure on our markets.
A double whammy. I guess I'd ask most farmers, we know you do not get into or stay in this work to get rich. It is hard and it's tenuous. Farmers love the land, the animals, the farm life. They love their neighbors they get to provide for. Are you going to be able to keep it going despite some of the stuff we're going through?
Yeah, I have a lot more confidence today than I did in March of 2020. We sold our cattle that year really at the lowest point that we could, and it was a big impact. What's important for us going forward is making sure that the regulatory environment continues to be favorable for the farmers and ranchers in the country. The investment that the Biden administration is making, a $1 billion investment into expanding meat packing and expanding programs to make sure we have all the workers. That's going to be.
See, that's the pride of Esau. You see, when he told him, do you think things going to continue? What does scripture say? That house shall continue forever, man. It's Psalm 49:11. That's the pride of Esau. Hey, this is a Job 9:24 all day, every day.
Be very important, but staying off government intrusion into our markets, like the Grassley Fisher Act, there's parts of that are good, allowing farmers and ranchers like myself to discover what our cattle prices really should be. Those things are good, but the mandates of how we market and sell our cattle are not going to be beneficial. And in fact, most agricultural economics professors will tell you that it will cost us a significant amount of money if some of these regulations are passed.
Understood. And real quick, while I have an expert on the line, when you're making chili, which is the best ground beef to put in that?
You're going to want to put in some 70-30 in there. Make sure it's got some good flavor.
Hey, you see it, man. Let me get these precepts. This is Isaiah 31 in verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots. And the Lord talking to you Israelites, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah. You Jakes that have taken on the covering of your government, they're going to fall, man. It say, verse 2, yet he also is wise. Who? Yahweh Shema Shah, and will bring evil, and will not call back his words. That's what is Isaiah 55, man. His word shall prosper in where he sent it, man. It say, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, which are you 2/3 Israelites, and against the help of them that work iniquity. So it show you that these devils, if they do something, I went to the lesson yesterday, the other day. If this devil do something, it's for his gain. It's not to help you, not to better you. It's for his gain, man. It say, and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men and not power, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helped shall fall, and he that is hoping, which is being helped, shall fall down, and they all shall fail together, which is right here in Isaiah 13 and 15. It reads, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Let me get this. Ecclesiastes, I think it's 14. It say, Ecclesiastes 14 and 5, it say, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. If he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. This devil will never help you, man. So if you think he's doing something to help you, it's not about you, man. It say, this Ecclesiastes 13 and 4. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee, but if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee. This devil, so you Jake thinking you trust in your government, they're not here to help you, man. They are not going to help you, man. It's for their benefit. I got 2 more clips, a few more precepts. I know Apostle Ramlaw just went live. Elder Zakbar live. I had to get this in. I saw this and I just had to go. I had to deal with this, man. So let me play this. This is a guy I used to do lessons on all the time. This guy, Richard Wolf. He cold with it, man. He give you the straight skinny, man. Check this out.
This is Richard Wolf from Democracy at Work with another Wolf Responds. This time I want to respond to the arguments being offered by President Biden and his government as to why we have the inflation that is hurting so many Americans these days and what it is that they're doing about it.
And you see, you got to understand, Esau is crying out, man. Like it said in Genesis 27. Is there not nothing for me, oh Father? See, these devils is crying out, man. Hey, and I like watching these guys, man. Hey, call out how about Shema Bashar. Hey, because the Pastor Hard got me watching these economists, man. Peter Schiff, Ron Paul, right? This guy here, Jeremy Babe, Gerald Salente, this guy Richard Wolf. Hey, and Peter Schiff go hard. He owned gold and silver, man. That guy got paper. And he's stealing every lesson he do is about inflation and about how the dollar collapsing all the time, man. These devils is crying out, man. But if you ain't in the know, if you don't have a vision, you ain't gonna know. So let's listen.
The Biden government. Let me begin with a general overview. Every time the capitalist system is hit with something that is really bad for large numbers of people, governments, whoever they are, Republicans or Democrats, it seems to make little difference. realize they have to go into theatrical mode. They basically aren't going to do much, but they have to look like they're doing a lot. And President Biden maintained that tradition, as did Mr. Trump before him, and so on. Mr. Biden's argument? Well, it's the big bad monopolies that are monopolizing business. We don't have the competition. He keeps repeating competition. It's wonderful. Monopoly, it's bad. Monopolies, few companies running each business, jack up the prices. Aha, there you have it, inflation. Nice story, simple, good guys and bad guys. We're suffering. The bad big companies are at fault. But this is an argument that holds no water. It's theater. It's not a serious engagement with the problem. So let's begin. Monopolies existed last year, the year before, the year before, the year before, the year before. We have had a tendency to monopolize our industries for as long as there's been capitalism. The first major law passed to try to control this was the Sherman Antitrust Act in 1890. A few years later, the Clayton Act, 1914. And we've had antitrust actions of one kind or another, more or less continuously. Have they prevented monopolies from forming? No. Are they preventing them from forming now? No. Have monopolies existed over the last 10 years when we didn't have much of an inflation? Yes. So the notion that the monopolies suddenly became the bad guy for an inflation that they apparently didn't cause for most of the last 10 years, it falls apart. Nice story, but it just falls apart. Why? And the answer is the structure of capitalism. Every capitalist business is in there to make money. And they've all understood the more control you can exercise over your market, the better your chances of making it profitable. That's why businesses struggle over market share. They always would like to increase their market share. Well, if all the companies are increasing their market share, then they're going to control the market, especially if there's only a few of them, which is the tendency always in capitalism, to go from many to few. And the reason is that's what competition does. That's why celebrating competition is a little odd, since competition is what produces monopoly. Or if you like this sort of language, capitalism is a system in which competition undoes itself. And here's the mechanism. Company A and Company B are competing. Let's say they both produce shoes. Company A is able to figure out a better way to make shoes, or to get its hands on cheaper leather, or to be able to substitute lower paid workers for the ones others have to hire. Whatever it is, they're able to lower the price of shoes and thereby outcompete the other company. Nobody goes to the other company. They all come and buy their shoes where they're cheaper. Guess what competition did? It didn't just give us cheaper shoes. That's sort of the nice part of this story. But here's the not so nice part. The other company went out of business. It shut down. It went bankrupt. It laid off all of its workers. And you know who hired those workers? The company that was more price attractive. It became larger. Where there were two competing companies, there's now only one, which absorbed the loser. You get it? Competition produces its own disappearance. That's why we're constantly getting monopolies. And those monopolies, as they develop, as a few companies or only one control an industry, then they get back at us. They jack up the price because we got nowhere else to go. Whatever they did earlier to lower the price, the nice news, is now offset by monopoly prices that are very high. That's the bad news. And let's remember, competition is what drove American companies to leave the United States and go to other countries where they could get away with pay workers less and thereby outcompete the ones back at home. And so they left. Competition leads to automation, replacing workers with machines. Competition has lots of consequences. Celebrating it as an unambiguous good is what you get on 4th of July speeches by members of the Rotary Club. But you can't take that seriously because that's just advertising for capitalism, showing you a few things that you can hype as good and hiding as many of the bad ones as you possibly can. No, inflation is baked in to our economy. It has lots of causes. And blaming the monopolies is the least effective way of dealing with it. Let's remember that there is an example in not so distant US history when an inflation was brought under control and fast. And that was by a conservative Republican president, Richard Nixon, who on August 15th, 1971, declared a wage price freeze. He effectively told the American business community, as of tomorrow morning, if you raise a price, we will arrest you and put you in jail. Bingo! The inflation stopped. We could start with that because there you're beginning to understand that maybe prices should be set by a politically, democratically organized decision, not be left in the hands of private enterprises seeking to make as much money as they can. And when they do that, deciding when and where it's nice to have an inflation is simply for them a matter of regular business.
That's what it is. It's for them. Who? The elites. This is business, man. It's just business, man. As it said in Habakkuk 2, these devils have, hey, they have more than enough, man. As the scriptures say, they have more than enough, man. More than enough. Yet they are not satisfied, man. Oh, what's that? Psalm 73 would say they have more than enough. If I ain't mistaken. Might be in another precept. They have more than enough, and they still are not satisfied, man. They can never be satisfied, man. The Lord put a cold spirit on them devils, man. That's why they have a different type of judgment. These devils have a special judgment, man. Because their spirit is void, man. It's empty. They can take down. That's why I say he have swallowed down much, and he shall vomit it all up again, man. These devils can never be satisfied, man.
The problem of inflations is the problem of the system that's prone to them sooner or later.
And it's talking about them. As the scriptures talk about, hey, these scriptures talking about them, man. The wicked that sit behind the scenes that you will never see them. At least you type them in on YouTube. You'll never see them, man. They'll never be in the news. You'll never see them in the media, man. Never. Unless they just happen to do an interview. Maybe one or two of them. Like this guy, Lord D. Rothschild. When you pull him up on YouTube, he got a couple interviews. Or Evelyn Rothschild. Or you might see a picture of David Rothschild. Every now and then, man. That's why I say in 2nd Ezra 11:39 that the end of their times may come through them, man. It's about them. Jeremiah was that 49? It say Jeremiah is it 50 and 45? It said the least of the flock shall draw them out. Okay? That time they might, let's get that. Just to make the point. You see, this is Esau. What is that? Psalm 64. They shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Psalm 64:7. It said the Lord shall shoot at them with an arrow, and suddenly shall they be wounded. Verse 8. For they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. This Jeremiah. You see, the Lord is destroying these devils, and we get to sit here and watch it front row seat, man. It's like sitting at the court side of a whatever NBA game. We got front row seats, man. And everybody else outside of this temple, outside of this truth, they in the bleachers, man. They in the nosebleeds. Well, you hopefully elect, you watching this up close and personal because nobody else is paying attention to it. Why? Because they don't have a vision of what's going on, man. Same thing happened in Rome. Rome was falling, and everybody was entertained by LeBron and Shaq and and Kylie Irving and with James Harden and what's these chicks' name? The Serena and Venus and all these. Hey, everybody else is their vision is on entertainment. Well, our vision is on the prophecies, man. This Jeremiah 50 and 45. It reads, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Babylon, and his proposes that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he have made their habitation desolate with them." The word them is always there. The end of their times may come through them. And now you got the rest of them who's not getting the bag anymore, complaining of who? Them, the ones that control the bag. We in some beautiful times, man.
And that system is called capitalism. If videos like this strike you as something you
What's
think,
capital? Capitalism. You got the captains, of the system who controls everything, man. What this guy said, I care not who make the laws, give me control of the money. And it's the same difference. Whoever control the money, they control who makes law, who make policy, man. You see? Then all these guys are well off. Richard Wolff, Jeremy Bade, Peter Schiff, Gerald Salente, they all well off, but they still complaining because they ain't getting that peace that they supposed to be getting, that the top families is getting, man. When Israel in rulership, everybody gonna eat good, man.
ought to be discussed and debated, ought to be part of the national conversation about our issues, our problems, and ways to solve them, then please partner with us.
He ain't talking about everybody, as in all 18 nations. He's talking about them. You so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians is not a part of this. Just like he wasn't a part of the what is called the what it was July the 4th, 17, whatever the date was, with the Declaration of Independence, because we were still in slavery. This not talking to you, because today you can say, "Oh, I got a right to bear arms." Well, they made it apply to you now because they don't have no choice. Because now they talking about we all brothers in Christ, so it applies to you too. They had to make it. They had to make this overturn that way, man. But originally, this wasn't for you, Jake, because this is not our rest, man. This is not our rest. But Jake get a good, decent job and a nice family, nice little rib. Now he got him an AR-15 and an AK. He think he part of the system. You niggas gonna die grievous deaths, man. They talking about them. This has nothing to do with you, Jakes.
Share this video with your friends, your neighbors.
So that was it on that. I got one more clip. And I'm gonna get a couple pre-sales and close out. Hey, this is beautiful, man. We in some beautiful times, brothers, sisters. We in some beautiful times. Let's get this. So check this out.
Canadian prepper here. So everybody's asking me to comment on the truckers' protest, this massive convoy that's going through Canada. I try to only approach these things obliquely because I like to be apolitical on the channel. And as much as a lot of people don't want to make that about politics, unfortunately, there are some people who do, and they tend to be the ones that speak the loudest. However,
now look, you can't make this up. Now, it's spiritual. Everything is done through the spirit. You don't have to believe it. It doesn't matter. Look what the title say. Without them, society collapses in 72 hours. Now he talking about the truckers, right? He talking about the truckers in this lesson. But who controls this? Who controls this? Them, the elites.
I will say that without truckers, without couriers, Without postal workers, society would collapse in a matter of days, especially throughout the last 2 years, where there have been worker shortages as a result of the bug, and you've had the actual amount of stuff that's been shipped probably double, if not triple, in that period of time. So for the last 2 years, being in the nexus of this whole supply chain, having an e-commerce platform, we bring stuff in, we ship it out to people. Being in that nexus of things, I work with couriers and I see truckers every single day for the last 2 years. Back in the dead of winter of March 2020, these guys were still going to work, not knowing what the hell was going on. They were the ones who were deemed, rightly so, among the most essential of workers. Because when you have a just-in-time delivery system, a global marketplace where you need to move goods thousands and thousands of miles, and people expect it, and boy, do people expect their stuff right away. Something incredibly foreign that had parts that were they themselves mined or manufactured in other places, and all those parts had to come together to ship to you, the end user. You need to thank truckers and couriers when everybody was sheltering in place, locked in their homes, on lockdown, on quarantine, when everybody was in the refuge of their space and was secure. These guys were out there when we didn't even know what the hell was going on. Okay, they were out there putting their lives on the line. Those workers back in March 2020 chose to stay home out of fear of what was going on when nobody knew how severe this thing was. If they decided not to go to work, this whole situation would have been far, far worse. In my opinion, truckers, couriers, postal workers, they are soldiers in this whole thing. And if you guys want to know what a stressful job is, and if you want to know why people go postal, go and work in a postal facility or just work in logistics for the past 2 years. Okay, it is nonstop, constant. Right when you think you've gotten to the bottom of your pile, a whole other 2 or 3 shipments comes in, and you got to do it all over again, and you just never ever catch up. It just keeps on coming. These people have been incredibly overwhelmed, and I believe that we owe them every ounce of possible respect and gratitude that we can possibly muster. We've seen what can happen when just a small amount of truckers don't show up for work, or the people who are working at the ports or the naval vessels who are bringing stuff over. This whole logistical supply chain, if you just grab the thing that's closest to you right now, there's a good chance that it was made from a variety of different component parts that had to be shipped by a trucker from a variety of different places, then put together, then shipped to you in a store, and then perhaps if you bought it from Amazon or if you bought it from us, we had to ship it to you, and that final person who delivered it perhaps was a local courier. There was a time back in our primitive existence where there was no such thing as a courier, because everything you had was basically from the immediate environment right around you. You want to eat, you go and hunt that animal over there, you go and pick that berry, you do everything yourself. As we've evolved as a society, we've adapted this thing called the global just-in-time delivery system. And if there's even a hiccup in that, guess what happens? We'll have major congestion at a port. Okay, we'll have major postal delays. There was a period at the peak of the pandemic where if you tried to call Canada Post, you'd be on hold for hours and hours on end. That's how important global logistics are. And we truly need to honor truck drivers, couriers, and anybody who takes one of the various components of whatever electronic device or food or any item, any man-made artifact that was shipped from thousands of miles away that you appreciate. You need to be grateful. And you can just say, well, yeah, they're doing their job and, you know, this and that. And that's true. But guess what? Unlike people who work in law enforcement or the medical fields, these guys never really signed up to be putting their lives on the line. They don't get danger pay. As far as I know, at the peak of this thing, when we didn't know what was going on, they weren't getting danger pay. Okay, I seen these guys busting their ass and girls every single damn day. The positive outcome of this whole debacle is going to be that attention is going to be brought towards the importance of this job. Okay, it's probably one of the most underrated jobs in terms of weaving the fabric of society together so that we can function day after day. So to me, this convoy, whatever the political ramifications are down the road, to me, I think one of the great things that's going to come out of it, hopefully, is that people are going to learn to appreciate where their stuff comes from and how it gets to them. Because if you don't understand that, if you have no appreciation for...
Look at this shirt. Ask me about the end of the world. You see that? Hey, man, the Lord is making these things plain. What things? Prophecy, man. We here, man.
for that, you're never going to be a prepper, because you'll just think that stuff grows on trees and flies through the window with a fairy and some pixie dust. Fortunately, doesn't work that way. Somebody had to bust their ass to get it to you. So hug a trucker, buy him a coffee, buy him a...
So anyway, that's enough of that. Just want to show you, man. Hey, and this finna stop, man. The Lord is shutting down everything in Babylon the Great, man. Ain't gonna be nothing, man. And if you don't trust in Yahweh Shema Shai, you're gonna die a grievous death, man. But let me get this. Matter of fact, let's get this. This is Job. Matter of fact, let me get this first. Yahweh Shai said this in Matthew 4 and verse 4, which he's quoting this. Yahweh Shai is quoting this from Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3. It reads, this is what Yahweh Shai said to Satan. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone. And that's how Jake think. That's how 2/3 of Jake think. They got to get the bag, feed the family. I'm going to be good. This has nothing to do with literal food, man. And FRNs. This is about the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. If you don't have this, you're going to die a grievous death, man. I don't care who you is. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of power, Yahweh Shema Shai. If you don't got the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai in you, on you, when famine hit, when Jacob trouble hit, your ass gonna die a grievous death. This is Job 23 and 12. I'm gonna start at 10 actually. But he knoweth the way that I take. When he have tried me, I shall come forth as gold. When you read in Isaiah 48 and 10, the Lord say he's going to try his men. Isaiah 48 and 10, it's in Ecclesiastes 2 and 5, it's in Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 6. The Lord said he's going to try his men. In Isaiah 13 and 12, he said, a man shall be made as fine gold, even the gold of Euphis, right? It say, but he knoweth the way that I take. When he have tried me, I shall come forth as gold, pure gold. My foot have held his steps. His way have I kept and not declined. Nothing shall take you away from this truth, man. Nothing. Nothing. Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. Food is not going to save you in the day of calamity, man. If the Lord ain't open up your mind to this truth, you're going to die grievous death, man. Neither have I gone back from the commandment of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. 2/3 of Jake trusting the government to feed them. Enormous bias. Things are going to get better. It's kind of looking kind of shady right now, but it's going to go back. It ain't going back. Babylon is great. Babylon is great. It's down for the taking, man. It tell you now in Jeremiah 51, there is no healing medicines for Babylon the Great, man. There is no ointment. There is no balm you can patch up this wound with. It's finna collapse. This is and that's why Esau is weeping as he wept in Genesis 27, man. And what did the Lord say? What did the Lord say through the Spirit? Hey, Isaac was Yahweh, man. If you can't receive it, if you read the scriptures, he told Abraham, I will surely visit you at the time of life. That's what Yahweh told Abraham, man. He came back as Isaac, man. What did Isaac do? he told Esau he blessed Esau to live by the sword. But Isaac never told Esau that he's got to die by that same sword, man. He told him, you shall live by the sword, and you shall have dominion, right? The dew of heaven, right? The best parts of the earth. And these elites, they living in the best parts of the earth, living good, man. But he never told Esau that you're going to die by that same sword. What Revelation 13 and 10 say? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Show you how the Lord had the spirit to deceive Esau, man. You're going to live by the sword. Why he didn't tell him you got to die by that same sword? Because it wasn't for him to know. Because he don't have no understanding. The Lord made him to be carnal. He called him the crooked serpent, man. As the scriptures say, what the Lord have made crooked, it cannot be straightened, man. Okay? This devil was made to be the wicked of the earth. He don't need to understand why he the wicked. His life is just go be the wicked. This is and it say he was gonna have dominion over the earth, man, through the sword, and he got it. And now we see they little puny minds can't understand that his dominion was just for a period of time, and then he got to go back to being what? On thy belly shall thy go, and dust shall thou eat all the days of thy life. Right? The basis of men, you going back to the basis of men, cave beasts, and confused. Dust shall thou eat all the days of thy life, which is confusion. That's your lot. You're going back to the basis of men and being confused, and after that, destroyed. This is Ephesians chapter 6 and 13. And the apostle been telling you knuckleheads for the longest. We dealing with the serpent seed line, man. They are the seed line of Satan, man. It tell you that 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9. It say, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. Why? Because these are his kids, man. They here on earth to do his bid because he can't do it physically, man. He got the spirit on them to do it. The Lord gave Satan the spirit to control his kids in wickedness. This is Ephesians 6 and 13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor, Salakia, Ephesians 6 and 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. We dealing with the serpent seed line, man. This is Lamentations chapter 4 and 9. And you 2/3, man. Hey, that's why we constantly pray. We constantly pray. We constantly pray, man, that we be not partakers of 2/3 of Jake, man. Cause these niggas finna die grievous deaths, man. These niggas don't want to repent. They just wake up and go, man. Lamentations 4 and 9. It reads, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pound away stricken through for wants of the fruits of the field. It said the hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. You know what the word sodden mean? It means they bore their own kids. Go read it in 2 Kings 8 or 2 Kings chapter 6, man. When we got besieged, how women was boiling their own kids, man. It's the hands of the pitiful women. You 2/3 women, hey, them kids you having, you're gonna be eating them. It's the hands of the pitiful women have signed their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people, man. 2/3 of these kids out here, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, Haitian kids will be eating. They're gonna be meat in Jacob's trouble when famine out here. Because they have no vision. And they don't trust in Yahweh Shema Shah. These men is gonna kill their kids, man. The Lord said he got a sword at you, Jakes, man. And Jake still in 2022, they still refuse to turn back to Yahweh Shema Shah. It say they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, for these pine away. That's a slow death, stricken through for once of the fruits of the field. A person that's pounding away in famine can taste a good steak and whatever they used to eat, whatever it was, tuna, whatever, grilled chicken salad, whatever you used to eat. Jake loved to eat pork. They can taste it in a slow death. 2/3 gonna die like this, man. And you know how long it got to play out for family to play out for you to just pound away, slow death. It got to play out, man. It's a part of famine is a major part of prophecy, man. It got to play out. Can you imagine how the Lord gonna have this happening? Jake starving away. That means it's gonna be days on end, man, weeks. This is Second Ezra 16 and 22, and it reads, "For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So you see that? Lamentation 4:9 say it's better to die by the sword than to die of hunger. Well, right here in 2 Ezra 16, it say, and the other that escape the hunger, you don't die by famine. Shall the sword destroy you, man? There is no escape. Like I tell you, Amos 5 and 18. As if a man did flee from a lion, and the bear met him, or ran into a house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. So you got away from the lion, and you ran into a bear. Or you just so happened to get away from the bear. Well, you ran into his old abandoned shack, trying to get some rest, trying to breathe, and a venomous snake bites you. Meaning there's no destruction, there's no escaping the destruction of Yahweh Shema Shah, man. It said the dead shall be cast out as dung. That's in Jeremiah 25 and 33. The Lord said there shall be dead bodies from one end of the earth even to the other, man. And nobody shall bury you. It said in the Jeremiah 25 and 33, it said they shall be as dung upon the ground. It's saying the same thing right here. It say, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. It's talking about North America, Babylon the Great, the worstest country on the planet, man. And it gotta be destroyed, man. The wickedness of this place have reached into the heavens. That's Revelation 18 and Jeremiah 51, 2nd Ezra 39, 2nd Ezra chapter 11, man. The Lord say, this sin of these devils, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, his sins have reached into the heavens, man. That's why Yahweh is coming back with vengeance of Yahweh, man. Because you Jakes, following the ways of these heathens, man. The Lord say plainly in Exodus 23 and 2, he said, learn Exodus 23 and 32, he said, make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. And you niggas in 2022 still worshiping Jesus Christos, man. He said, make no covenant with them. You niggas want to vote. You want to be a part of the voting system. You niggas going to die grievous deaths, man. Because you want to be a voter. The Lord going to kill you, man. And you don't got to believe right now. Wait, hey, boy, these niggas at the border right now of Ukraine and Russia, they ready to get it. But you know what? The angels is holding back the destruction until the elect get sealed. When the elect get sealed, watch MOTB, mandatory, World War III, take flight. Famine and pestilence is gonna be on you 2/3 niggas, man. Because you niggas would not get in order, man. This is Isaiah chapter 9, dealing with famine. It reads, Isaiah 9 and 19. Through the wrath of the Lord, Yahweh Shema B'Shav host, is the land darkened. Why is it going to be darkened? Because there's nothing but wickedness here. So he got to be laid desolate. It say, and the people shall be as fuel of the fire. What fire? From those intercontinental ballistic missiles. The Lord said the people shall be as fuel to the fire. That's how cold the Lord is, man. You need more people. You ever been around a bonfire and you got to keep throwing wood on the bonfire to make it to have a nice big blaze? More wood. Throw some more wood on that, bro. Throw some more wood on them. The Lord said, the people shall be as fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. Why? Because he's going to be at each other's necks. It say, and he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. That's how bad family gonna be out here. A nigga gonna be walking around biting on his own arm like a sneaker bar, man. This is the Lord. The same one that these wacky Christians talking about, he's all love. He's coming back with roses and candy. The Lord said you're gonna be eating on your own arm, man. That's how bad family gonna be out here. You ain't gonna find no food. You gonna start eating on yourself, man. That's the 2/3 of you wicked niggas, man. Because you refuse to repent. This is 1 Corinthians 14 and 8. It reads, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? And apostles, elder brother going all the time, man. That was different type of sounds of trumpets in Jerusalem that was blown, right? 3, 4 different type of trumpet sounds, 7 to 6, 7 different type of sounds. That was a sound, right? When there was a high holy day, right? Yeah, the Sabbath, different type of high holy days, the Sabbath, right? It's different type of trumpets that's gonna be blown, man. Who shall give ear to this? Well, the Lord said in Isaiah 58. Let's read that. Then we'll come back and read that again. It's Isaiah 58 and 1. Cry loud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet. We don't need no bullhorn. We don't need no microphone with a mic. The Lord said, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Well, in the highways and hedges, in the streets and lanes, in the chief place of the city, man. Cry loud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people, not all 18 nations, my people, their transgressions, and the house of Jacob, their sins. Right? Cry loud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet. So the trumpet that's being blown is the messengers of Yahweh Shema Shai. 1 Corinthians 14 and 8. If it say, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? Only the hopeful elect is going to hear this trumpet and be like, oh man, okay, it's time to get right. The bridegroom cometh, like in Matthew 25, man. It tell you at midnight there was a cry made in Matthew 25, and the bridegroom cometh. It say, and those that trim their lamps, the 5 wise virgins, they was prepared and ready, which is the hopeful elect. But it said the foolish virgins, they lamps went out, man. Why? Because the Lord took their oil from them. That's why you got these niggas bugging out, coming up against the apostles and elders, great millstone, talking trash by the same ones that taught you the truth. How you think you don't come against somebody that taught you the truth? That's been diligently 30 plus years, and you demon niggas ain't been in the truth 10, 11, 15 years, and you think you know more than the apostles? You niggas is whack. And at least you repent, you're going to be destroyed. This is Ezekiel chapter 7 and 14. It reads, they have blown the trumpet. Who? The messengers. In Matthew 16 and 4, it said, a wicked and adulterous generation, Yahweh shall say, seeketh after a sign, but there shall no sign be given to it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. What was Jonas? A messenger for the Lord. If you don't take the message, you're going to be destroyed. You don't got to like who's bringing the message, but the message is not the messengers. It's the message from the king. And he said, repent, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And you niggas, because you trust in the government, no evil is going to come upon us. Like it said, Amos 9:11, right? No evil shall come upon us. Not Amos 9:11, what's that? Amos 9 and 10. Jake say, no evil shall come upon us. Well, just wait. It say, they have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go to the battle. What battle? To prepare yourself for what's about to come, man. It say, but none go up to the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. You 2/3 Israelites and the heathens. It said, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within, He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. And we go over this over and over and over. Got a couple more precepts. Let me close out. 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, which is the unbelief, them that have no belief. It said, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemawashah, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, and death, and destruction. Just read in Ezekiel 7:15. It says, verse 6, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise. Jake wickedly exercise adultery. They wickedly exercise killing each other. They wickedly exercise doing drugs continually, man. It's a in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me. That's the hopefully elect crying to the Lord. How long we got to sit here and watch this go on? This devil with unjust gains, with usury, right? How long? It say, and the souls of the just complain continually, which that's what the hopefully elect supposed to do. The Lord said it in Isaiah 62:6 and 7, man, right? He said he set up watchmen that shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, right? Ye that make mention of the Lord, hey, until he established Jerusalem in the earth, give him no rest, man. And that's why brothers do videos 24/7 around the clock, man. A prophecy going out, man. These prophecies are turned up, and niggas, hey, as the prophecies are turning up, niggas are getting more wickeder, man. But it's supposed to be this way. This is now the brother. I'm not put this up on the comment board. He put up Ezekiel 5:16. I'm gonna read both 16 and 17. It reads, when I send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, you 2/3 Israelites. They say, and which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff for bread, your food. It say, so will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, which we see playing out, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, have spoken it. Right? So I thought about this in Jeremiah 5:6. Because the Lord say he got, oh, matter of fact, let me get this first. Isaiah 3:1. It reads, for behold, the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, doeth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah, all 12 tribes, the state and the staff. That mean a protection, a covering, a hedge. You don't got that. 2/3 don't got this. The whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. Again, the Lord say, I do take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the state and the staff, that comfort. You Jakes that's been living in comfort, the Lord is taking it away from you. You just had this what is called what is called when they took away the rent. I forgot what the name of moratorium, uh, moratorium, whatever it was. They called for the rent when they took the people rent when they had to pay rent for a while. Now that's gone. People got kicked out of their houses. I don't know. I don't know the name. I forgot how to pronounce it right off right now. But that's gone. That comfort you had, you didn't have to. One of you brothers know you can put on the comment board. You didn't have to pay rent for a while, right? That was gone. Well, guess what? Now, DJ These Jakes were getting all them stamps, and now you don't got nowhere to put the food at, right? Now you out, no work, but you got stamps. So you got Esau don't help. He don't care for you. No, not the economic assistance. The moratorium, what it called, moratorium or something, when they was helping them with the rent, and they didn't have to pay rent for months on end because of COVID, and then they ended it. I forgot what it was called, moratorium or something like that. So anyway, it say for the Lord, it said, for behold, the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai of hosts, do a take away from Jerusalem and from Judah, the stay and the staff, which is a covering or protection, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, right? Your food and your water out of here. But yeah, uh, economy existence. It say, yeah, what is it? Housing moratorium. Okay, the water. Housing moratorium. The water. It said a mighty man and a man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50 and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent man. And I will give children to be their princes. What children? Esau Edom. That's why Job said, they that are younger than I, in Job 30:1, they that are younger than I have me in derision. The Lord said, I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. Who? To my Esau Edom. Because when you go to verse 12 in this verse, it says what? Let's read verse 5. And the people shall be oppressed, everyone by another, and everyone by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient. Who is the child? Esau Edom. Who is the ancient? You Hebrew Israelites. Because we came first, man. Out of all the nations, you Israelites came first. It say, and the base against the honorable. Who is the base? Esau Edom. He's against the honorable. Okay? Verse 12 said, what? Children are oppressors, and women rule over us. So that's what led me to get this. Jeremiah 5:6. It reads, wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. Right? It say, a leopard shall watch over their cities. Who is this leopard? Esau Edom. Who is the wolf that set up? The devil set up these pastors to take all your earnings, bring it to the storehouse, bring it to the storehouse, and the Lord will bless you. The prosperity doctrine. It say, a leopard shall watch over their cities. Everyone that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many and their backsliding are increased. The Lord got these devils set up just to destroy 2/3 of Jake, man. That's a sword. Right. Beautiful. Moratorium. It's a legal authorization to debtors to postpone payments. Now what? Now this devil gave you all them stamps, them ones that was under those moratoriums, gave you stamps, and then you got kicked out, and you ain't had nowhere to put your food. Then what happened? They had to move in with family members. They had to sell some of their stamps to get some cash, or however it go, whatever. Hey, but Lord with us edifying, man. Gotta give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bahashim Marikah Kodash. The bonus to the apostles and elders of great millstone who well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether concepted or not. In sincere salutation, total occupant, pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect, and shalom to that walk to our listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. Hey, the water for you, brother, precepts, man. The water for tuning in. The water for your precepts, man. Hey, the water, man. But it's lucky I ain't get to read them. The all the ones I want to read. Hey, but the water. I appreciate what you brothers did, man. Let's read this. This is from the brother in his Latin Yasha Allah. It reads, an economy, it said an economic collapse is a breakdown of a national, regional, or territorial economy that typically follows a time of crisis and economic collapse occurs, I can never say that word right, just like pure, occurs at the onset of a severe, Salakia, of a severe version of an economic contraction, depression, or recession, and can last any number of years depending on the severity of the circumstances. The water, beautiful, beautiful. Hey, and as the brother put up, I ain't gonna read it. But Isaiah 65:13 say, the Lord say, when the time when Jacob trouble hit, when it's famine out here, it's also in Psalms 33, right? Matter of fact, let me get it. Let's get it. I'm gonna read a couple more. Salakia, trying to close up. Gotta get ready to go to camp. It's Psalms 33:18. It reads, "Behold, the eye of the Lord Yahweh is upon them that fear Him, upon them that hope in His mercy, to deliver their soul from death, and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waited for the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. He is our shield. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in Him, because we have trusted in His holy name. Let thy mercy, O Yahweh, be upon us according as we hope in thee." Let me get this one. Psalm 37 in Psalm 37:18, it say, "The Lord Yahweh Shema shall know the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied." Which go into Isaiah 65, man. He said, "My servant," Isaiah 65:13 and 14. He said, "His servants shall eat, but they shall be hungry." Who is the day? The 2/3. He said, "My servants shall drink, but they shall be thirsty. My servants shall rejoice, but they shall mourn." 2/3 going to mourn, having no drink, no food. Why? Because they rejoicing right now, like because they got a little bag. They doing good. Well, all that's gonna be taken away, man. What is that? Um, let's get this one in Job. It's Job 5. This is Job 5 and 22. It reads, "At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league." I love to read verse 23. It says, "For thou shalt be in league," like Justice League, because everybody's going to be transformed. It say, "Thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field." These stones, right, when you go into this word league and stones, it's talking about being part of the elect. Okay? It said, "For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee." You see? So to tell you in Jeremiah 15 how the Lord going to have wild beasts destroying, he said he got 4 kinds, right? The sword to slay. Let's get that. See, these beasts ain't gonna bother the hopeful elect, man. They gonna be at 2/3 niggas, man. Jeremiah 15:3. "And I will appoint over them 4 kinds," saith the Lord: "the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy." So the hopeful elect gonna be in league with the elect. So the beasts of the earth ain't gonna bother you. Also going to the kingdom of heaven, we know all the animals gonna be in fear of us. But on this side, they're gonna destroy 2/3 of Jake. But they ain't gonna bother the hopeful elect, man. Why? Because you trusting in Yahweh Shema Shai, man. Hey, so Lord was edifying. Hey, throughout for tuning in, throughout for your precepts. Until next time, I say Shalom. Wa Abba Ball.